Call the regular meeting of the City of Frankfort Board of Commission to order. Today is October 25th, and I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Commissioner Waldridge,
Present.
Commissioner Thompson,
Present.
Commissioner May,
Present.
Commissioner Unger,
Present.
Mayor Wilkerson.
And I'm present, and we have a quorum. And next up is citizens' comments. I believe we had at least one. Is that right?
We did, and I can read it if you would like for me to. I believe it's really directed to the state, but I'd be happy to read it. And Mayor, if you'd like one of us to get in touch with the citizen to speak to them, I can do that as well.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, do you want me to go ahead and read the comment though?
Please.
Okay, this is from Beth Gallagher, and she says, has a traffic impact study been done regarding the closure of the road which runs between the Capitol and the Annex? How will this affect Shelby Street and other roads surrounding the area? Parking, traffic flow, potential complications during bad weather, or other ordered street closures. And like I said, I'd be happy to contact her, or whoever staff member you'd like to contact her and let her know who to speak to.
Well, we're working on that too. I think we just want to, it's not anything we can control. Thank you, Ms. Gagler. Next up, we have a consent calendar. Laura Haig.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll read through the consent calendar for all of you. We have quite a few on here, so bear with me for a moment. First up is the minutes from the work session from September 13th, 2021, the special joint meeting on September 16th, 2021, the special meeting on September 24th, 2021, and the regular meeting on September 27th, 2021. Item number 2 is the tourism wayfinding sign purchases. We're excited about this. This is also part of the implementation of the downtown master plan for phase 2 of purchasing the wayfinding signs. Those are the brown signs we see that direct tourists to the places we want them to see and hope to encourage them to visit here in Frankfort. The total budget item is $33,000, but we'll get reimbursed for about $18,000, and it'll just be a budget impact of about $14,500. Item number 3, item 3, 4, and 5 are all related to IT. And as we discussed in the last work session, we're doing a number of different upgrades to help make it easier for citizens to do business and interact with the city. The first up is the Parks website, number 3, which for a long time has been hosted on a third-party site, and we're integrating it into the our city website. So that's a cost of approximately $3,600. Next up is purchasing Civic Rec software, which will be a particular software that will make it easier to do rentals, register for events, automates a lot of the processes that Parks and Rec Department have. That is a purchase of $14,963. And number 5 is the C-Click Fix app, which our IT director, Bobby Rippey, presented on last time, and we've spoken to you about, which we're really excited to get using. And that purchase price is about $10,000, $9,976. Item number 6, this may seem a little deja vu. Yes, you had already approved this purchase of the single axle dump truck, but actually when we went back to buy it, the cost of the customization to add a snow plow had gone up by a couple thousand. So we have to come back and ask your permission to approve, and putting in a little contingency up to $3,900 in additional cost. And again, the direct price hasn't changed. It's just the customization. And this is for Public Works. Item number 7 is we are asking approval for purchasing a 2022 F-250 crew cab for Public Works and the Street Department. The total for the truck is $36,513, and this was part of our fiscal year 2022 budget. Item number 8 and number 9 are both dealing with police and purchasing new police vehicles. The first one is a 2021 Ford Utility Police Interceptor, and item number 9 is a 2022 Ford Utility Police Uplifter. Both will include some additional upfit and a cost of $51,000 each, and these were both in our budget. Item number 10, the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security. We have done this before. The city of Frankfort serves as a pass-through, so they can receive federal funds to help not operate, but in particularly in the intelligence arena. So we will, this is a memorandum of understanding, so we can be the pass-through so they can receive the federal funds. Item number 11 is a contract extension with Coyle and Associates for the sewer department. We have used them quite a bit before. Since we do not have a senior engineer or a water quality engineer, Coyle and Associates has been filling that void for us. And this is for a cost of approximately $120,000 for a professional services agreement. Item number 12 is all of our personnel actions, and I'll read through them. We have the promotion of Brenda Rogers in Public Works Transit on October 12th, 2021, from transit driver to transit foreman. We have the promotion of Scotty Mans in the sewer department on August 12th, 2021, from sewer tech 4 to collection construction foreman. We also have the promotion of Elizabeth Walker in fire and EMS on October 26, 2021, from sergeant to captain. We have the promotion of Casey Watts in the fire EMS department on October 26, 2021, from sergeant to captain. We also have the promotion of Josh Dunmeyer in fire EMS on October 26, 2021, from firefighter 2 to sergeant. We have the promotion of Brandon Smither in the fire EMS on October 26, 2021, from firefighter 2 to sergeant. Next, we have a promotion of Christian Brooker in fire EMS on October 26, 2021, from firefighter 3 to sergeant. And then we also have the promotion of Christopher Hostetter in fire EMS on October 26, 2021, from firefighter 2 to sergeant. Next, we have the appointment of Jermaine Jackson in the sewer department on August 12, 2021, as plant operator 1. We have the appointment of Cameron Bingham in Public Works Solid Waste on October 12, 2021, as a Public Works Tech 1. We also have the appointment of Levi Woodside in the sewer department on October 26, 2021, as Sewer Tech 2. And the appointment of Jared Merriweather in the sewer department on October 26, 2021, as Sewer Tech 1. We are also receiving the resignation of James Carney in the police department on October 11, 2021, as Patrol Officer 2, and we authorize payout of accrued leave. We also have the retirement of David Noonan in Parks and Recreation Department on October 31st, 2021, as a Parks and Recreation Supervisor, and authorizing payout of accrued leave. Finally, we have the retirement of Eddie Halliburton in the sewer department on October 31st, 2021, as a sewer tech, and authorized payout of accrued leave.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor? I'll ask the clerk, please call for a vote on this one.
Did Kyle have discussion, Mayor? Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes. Consent calendar is adopted. And next is action items. Action
Mayor.
item number 1. Yes. Yes,
I
Commissioner. Walker.
spoke with City Manager Hagan, wanted to move a few items toward the top of the action items. And I spoke with her in regards to moving 5, 9, and 10 to the top. If we could do that really quick, I invited a couple of people for number 5 with Kyle, and wanted them to go ahead. And I know that there's a young lady that has to get to an event for her school. 5, 9, and 10, Mayor.
Do we have any objection to moving action items number 5, 9, and 10 to the top? Without any objection, we can do that. So we'll start with action item number 5.
Thank you.
This is a resolution declaring October 2021 and October 22 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Mayor, do you mind reading that resolution in full, please?
Can I ask the
Or
city
the-
manager to read
yes,
that?
yes, sorry.
Right. Here, I can pull it up here. Okay, I can do this. All right. Whereas during National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we honor the courage, strength of the millions of Americans who are battling this terrible disease and remember the ones whose lives have been affected by breast cancer. Whereas in the United States, more than 276,000 women and men are diagnosed with breast cancer annually, whereas 1 of every 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. It does not discriminate because of race, age, or income levels. And whereas breast cancer is the second most commonly diagnosed cancer among women, except for non-melanoma skin cancers. And whereas breast cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in women, exceeded only by lung cancer. And whereas early detection and regular screening mammograms followed by timely treatment upon diagnosis can significantly improve a patient's chance of survival. Whereas mammography and x-ray of the breast is recognized as the single most effective method of detecting breast changes that may be cancer long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the City of Frankfort do hereby declare October 2021 and October 2022 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Frankfort, Kentucky, and encourage all citizens and businesses to paint the town pink in support of breast cancer awareness.
Mayor, may I speak?
Yes. Commissioner Thompson?
Mayor and Commission and executive staff of the city and city staff, I would like to take just a moment and talk about the support that I have for not only this particular resolution, but for those who are dealing with the terrible disease of breast cancer. I have a very good friend who is a Frankfort girl, born and raised. She was an amazing person. She was maybe one of the best people I'd ever met in my life, and she came from our town, became one of the best lawyers, not just in our state. She was actually chosen by the Obama administration to help prosecute cases in Guantanamo Bay. She was an amazing human. Her name was Rochelle, and Rochelle and I grew up together. We met when we were 10 years old, probably around 10 years old. So we knew each other for about 35 years. She and I met on a school trip where she was from one school and I was from another. And then she ended up transferring to Elkhorn when we got into 6th grade. And Rochelle and I were incredibly close. And I cannot tell you how horrible this disease is and how unfair it is and how it strikes at the very heart of what we should all be concerned about in this country in fighting this terrible disease. Rochelle was 45 years old when she passed away. She was 43 when she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Rochelle continued to fight more than any superhuman could ever hope to. She always had hope, even until the Sunday before she passed. She still had hope. and she was perhaps one of the best humans I ever knew. And to Kevin, her husband, and to Delaney, her daughter, and to the seems like millions of friends that Rochelle had across this country. I told them this before, but I am sorry. I hurt just like they do. And I'm going to continue to fight to not only raise money for that, but to also continue to help those who are in need. At the same time, I have a very good friend. Her name is Jenny. And Jenny and I have been friends for many years. She is now struggling with breast cancer as well, and she's tough. She's tough on a whole bunch of levels, and I am pulling for Jenny just like the rest of the city and state are, and I want her to know that we are thinking of her and her kids and her family, and all of our prayers and hopes are with her, and we're just we're hoping she continues to fight like a girl, as they say, and keep the faith and stay strong. She's an amazing human as well, and every time I see her, she always has a positive attitude. So I just am wanting the commission and the city of Frankfort to know that while we're doing this on the back end of the month, it doesn't mean that we didn't have awareness for this. I myself am raising money, and others in the city, and thanks to Commissioner Waldridge for assisting me on that. And we will continue to do that not only this year, but next year. So thank you, Mayor, and I would strongly encourage passage of this resolution.
Thank you, Commissioner Thompson and Commissioner Waldridge.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I wanted to take the moment. I want to say thank you again to Kyle Thompson for signing up for Real Men Wear Pink of the Bluegrass. I've worked for American Cancer Society the last 2 years, and this is something I was huge on and pushing forward, and recruited Kyle. And when I mentioned it, it was definite yes. So I appreciate him bringing this resolution forward as well to the group for us to pass. But I also brought a couple of special people with me today because we have a little presentation, and on you will see Miss Chloe Nance, who is a Bondurant Middle School student. Chloe and we ran into each other when her and Josiah were at Collins Lane together, and she started doing pink. And I was working at American Cancer Society at the time, and started working with her to see how I could help her and give things out, little pink things to her community. Chloe Nance has stepped forward to also do that in Bondurant and Collins Lane this year in raising money for breast cancer awareness. She does this in honor of her grandmother who survived breast cancer. And I'm going to let Chloe introduce herself and say a little bit about her and a little bit on why she does what she does, and then we'll make a presentation. Chloe.
Okay. So, hi, I'm Chloe. You can read that. She has something that she wrote that she's going to read if that's okay.
No, that's fine.
The students of Collins Lane Elementary and Bondurant Middle participated in Week of Pink last week to raise money for breast cancer research. Together, we raised $1,622.08. I would like to present the check to Commissioner Kyle Thompson.
So as a fifth grader, she developed a week, presented it to our principal, and each day of the week, the children dressed up and brought in their change. So we didn't get to do it last year because of COVID. This year, as a seventh grader, she took it to Bondurant and then decided that she would also, I am still at Collins Lane, so she challenged the two schools to raise money together. And with Katricia's help, she helped us decide where we were going to send the money after they were finished with their fun days and their raising. So we do have a check for $1,622 that we will give to Katricia, who is then turning it over, I believe, to Commissioner Thompson so that it goes towards his fund as a manifest.
Yes. Yes, so we will drop that off at the Lexington office to the young lady there who will then place that on Kyle's account. And at this time, Kyle's goal is $2,500 for Real Men Wear Pink, and that will bring him to a total of $1,947. So we wanted to surprise Kyle with this and going toward the Miss Chloe read your bio on Real Men Wear Pink, and she definitely was on board to help support you supporting the young lady that passed away and things of that nature. And so we wanted to surprise you in helping you get to your goal. So I'm hoping Frankfort and everyone else will jump on board to help you meet your $2,500 goal now that you're a bit closer, and log on to Google Real Men Wear Pink of the Bluegrass to donate to Kyle Thompson. Thank you, Chloe and Miss Nance, for joining us. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for continuing. And I look forward to maybe getting all of Franklin County on board with you, Chloe. So thank you.
Thank
Chloe.
you.
Thank you,
Chloe.
Chloe.
Chloe, I don't have words for what this. Thanks, kiddo. You did good.
Good job, Chloe.
Mayor, and one other particular person I invited to just say a moment is Executive Director for Indiana and Kentucky at the time for American Cancer Society, which is an organization I've worked for the last 2 years. And so I'm just volunteering now and helping out because this is a passion of mine. But this is Brad Burke, Executive Director for American Cancer Society, and I let him come in support of Kyle and the society just to say a moment.
Thank you,
Hi, Brad.
Katricia.
Welcome.
Hopefully y'all can hear me. Thank you, Katricia, commissioners, and the good people of Frankfort. On behalf of the American Cancer Society, we appreciate your support. I especially want to thank Chloe. What an amazing example of giving and raising and doing good community work and engaging all of your fellow students in something that's so important. So just appreciate what you're doing, and it's just an amazing story. Definitely would like to call out and also thank Commissioner Thompson, who, as you heard, is one of 50 Kentuckians participating in Real Men Wear Pink. I'm also participating my 4th year, so it's an amazing campaign. He's wearing pink, as am I, and guys are wearing pink every day to help raise awareness and critical funds to help save lives. The only thing I would add to your resolution is that we are making significant progress in this fight. Since 1991, breast cancer mortality rates have declined every single year to a total of 41%, which is pretty remarkable. And that equals 3.8 million breast cancer survivors in the United States. So lots of good work has been done, but lots more to do. 250,000 will pass away. So lots to do. We appreciate all of your support, and thank you to this this commission.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
And with that, if we have no others, I move to make a motion to pass.
We have a motion to pass this resolution.
Second.
We have a second, Commissioner Thompson. And discussion, I can also say my mother is a breast cancer survivor, Maggie Tackett Wilkerson, so I will wholeheartedly support this, of course. So any other discussion?
No, sir. Call the question.
Okay. Clerk, please call for a vote.
Commissioner Waldridge,
I will definitely say yes, and I would like that to be in honor of Glory Delaney Connor, as she survived breast cancer, which is my youngest son's grandmother, and Eva Waldridge, one of my favorite aunts who passed away about 2 years ago of breast cancer. So yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
I will vote yes in honor of my friend Rochelle Williams Bolton and my friend Jenny Hurst. Keep fighting, Jenny.
Commissioner May,
Absolutely, yes, and thank you to the fellow commissioners that have brought this to our attention. Thanks for everybody's support.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
I vote yes. Thank you all. That motion carries, of course.
Thank you all very
Thanks
much.
for attending, really. Okay, great. Next action item. I think we're moving to action item number 9, right? Joint Economic Development Grant for Sports Tourism and Resolution.
Yes. Oops. We discussed this at the work session where we're jointly applying for funds with Franklin County to be able to renovate Lakeview Park and Capitol View Park. Rebecca Hall is here to provide, is here to answer any additional questions that you all may have.
Well, do we have any, I'll entertain a motion to approve, or if anyone has any.
I'll move to approve.
Second. Did
We
she?
have a motion by Commissioner Unger, and we have a second by
I'll second.
Commissioner. Okay, any discussion on this? Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Mayor. So I had a conversation with City Manager Haig earlier in the week, and we were discussing the economic impact of this, and obviously it is necessary. I think that the joint application is well founded. I did have some trepidation based upon recent working structures with both governments, and I just want to make sure that post fact that we will have an MOU or an MOA in place that will lay out the responsibilities and the benefits to each government entity. And City Manager Haig has assured me that that is definitely going to be the case. And in addition to that, she has said that while there's a time constraint on this, there's nothing that prevents us from making sure that things are done right when we actually receive that money. So I think it's something that we need to continue to work on over the next few months. And when it gets warm in March, let's use that money that gets doled out and start making some improvements.
And Mayor, I'd just like to add that, I support this wholeheartedly. I support what Kyle just said as well, so I won't reiterate that. But speaking with Ms. Haig on the questions that I had was that we did receive it that weekend and really didn't have a lot of time to really look over it and know a lot about it. And so we did have questions, even though we all still 100% supported it. We just wanted, to know a few details, and those details came back that it would be split down the middle, as well as split down the middle as far as matching funds as well. So, and we wanted to start on our diamonds and things of that nature that would be listed. So once those were answered for all of us commissioners and mayor, I think we're 110% on. So I'm all for it. So I'll make a motion to approve.
We already have a motion to approve. We already have a second. And I'll just say one more thing on this is, we've had a couple of joint meetings with the county recently, and this is sports, tourism, and parks. One of the topics that have bubbled up to the top, and this is one area right away where we're working together on, where we're both applying for a grant together to improve 2 different parks and hopefully attract more tournaments and such. So right here is an example that we're working together for from the get-go. So no other discussion? I'll ask the clerk to please call for a vote.
Commissioner Waldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes. And that motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. And action item number 10 is next. An executive order regarding a waiver of certain alcohol license fees in the city of Frankfort for fiscal year ending June 30, 2023. Ms. Haig.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. In response to the previous commission meeting where it was brought up asking about whether or not there was the alcohol fee waiver or not, there was some confusion. Instructed staff to go back and look to see what had or had not happened. And as our city solicitor, Laura Ross, mentioned that the previous commission decided not to take action. So we brought this forth to you if you would like to waive the alcohol license fees For those that have already paid, it would be waived for the following year. And for those who have not paid in 2021, for this 2022 fiscal year, it would be, they don't have to pay and they would just have to pay next year. So that is, that's how we structured the executive order.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion,
Second.
and we have a second by Commissioner Thompson. Discussion.
Commissioner May has his, yeah.
Yeah, question for Solicitor Ross. Solicitor Ross, seeing as I take a K-1 from business that would be directly impacted by that, should I recuse myself from this discussion and vote?
I was just getting ready to text you, Commissioner May. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so should I shut camera off or just audio here?
I would, if you could shut your camera off, and I'll text you, or when we are, actually you can listen. That's no problem. So if you just want to shut your camera off and your microphone, then when this item is over, you can rejoin us.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have one commissioner down, so we still have a quorum. Okay, any discussion on this? We have a second. We have a motion.
Call the question, Mayor.
Commissioner, City Clerk, can you please call for a vote?
Commissioner Waldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Unger, Commissioner Unger,
Yes. Sorry.
Mayor Wilkerson.
I'm a yes too. That motion carries. I'm happy to support businesses. All right. Okay, we'll wait for Commissioner May to. Now we'll go back to the beginning. We'll go to the action item number 1. Got my paperwork. Got it rearranged here, ready to go.
Okay. An ordinance fixing the rate of taxation for the year of 2021 on all taxable capital of domestic life insurance companies subject to tax and levying said tax for all city purposes. This ordinance establishes that the 2021 City of Frankfort ad valorem tax rate is 5 9/10 cents on each $100 valuation on taxable capital of domestic life insurance companies.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. Clerk, please call for a vote.
Commissioner Waldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes, and that motion carries. Now we'll go to action item number 2, another second reading.
An ordinance fixing the rate of taxation for the year 2022 on all motor vehicles and levying said tax for all city purposes. This ordinance fixes the rate of taxation for the year 2022 at the sum of 22 7/10 cents on each $100 valuation on all motor vehicles subject to taxation in the city.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote.
Commissioner Waldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes, and that motion carries. Action item number 3, another second reading.
An ordinance rezoning property located on Home Street with the address of 207 Home Street, more specifically described as PBA map number 06444040004, from industrial commercial district to limited commercial district. This ordinance approves a zone map amendment for the property with the address of 207 Home Street, more specifically described as PBA map number 06444040004, from industrial commercial district to limited commercial district.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. And any discussion on this action item? No discussion. Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote.
Commissioner Waldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes. And that motion carries, which brings us to action item number 4, Yes Arts Addendum. And I'll ask Ms. Haig to chime in on this one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The addendum to the previous lease that the city has signed with Yes Arts allows, if the county clerk would like to share the use of the premises for voting, that we wanted to make sure that it was in the lease, that Yes Arts would share the property. So we put that in there, brought it back to you.
Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam City Manager, I am under the impression that we did put that back in the lease. However, it's my understanding there's still an issue that it may not work out with the county because of security measures. And I just wanted to update everyone that I appreciate the fact that we tried to fix this. I just want to encourage us to make sure that when we have these issues in the future, that we reach out to all the local officials that this may affect. And I think we should all work to try to help the local county clerk and make sure we have safe elections. And it's unfortunate that this has happened. I wish there was another solution at this point.
Thanks, Commissioner Thompson. You know, as soon as I became aware of it, I started looking for some options. I think between the two entities, Yes Arts has actually agreed if the county clerk would still like to use the premises, that they would vacate it for 2 weeks in the spring and the fall. I spoke to the county clerk today and presented him with that option, as well as I've reached out to private sector entities who have vacant buildings downtown, which would accommodate the needs for security, ADA accessibility, as well as parking, and presented that to him. I think he's going to be investigating all options to see which is the best solution. But I agree, Commissioner Thompson, as soon as I learned of this, because I was not aware of any agreement or intention, I apologize for that. I did start looking for alternate solutions because, of course, we want to encourage voting in our community.
We need a motion. Move to approve.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on this? Any further discussion? If none, I will ask the clerk to please call for a vote.
Commissioner Waldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
I'll abstain. Thank you.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes. That motion carries. And we've already covered action item number 5. Moving to action item number 6, a resolution for 100% clean renewable electricity. city government operations by 2026, 100% clean energy for city government operations by 2030, and 100% clean renewable electricity community-wide by 2030. Commissioner May, would you like to lead us
Absolutely.
on this?
Sure. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on this. My thought process going into this is about, setting goals, setting intention, setting a direction, and beginning a conversation for a path forward and a path that we know is coming and headed our direction. And I believe in order to maximize the local benefit, both economically and from a quality of life standpoint, that we set goals. And setting goals is very important. So I was hoping, tonight that through this, we could begin a conversation and an invitation to everybody to begin having those conversations on how we move towards a clean and renewable community. So I'm open to questions, comments, and just really excited to bring this forward.
We have a resolution out there. I'm open to a motion or we don't
Make a
have
motion.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I do. I apologize. Discussion here on a date in the resolution. My apologies. If I may go back, Mayor.
We have a motion. We're waiting on a second. Yeah, Commissioner. Yeah, sorry, City Attorney Ross.
Sure. If and I'm sorry I didn't hear who actually made the motion, but if they'd like to withdraw, I think Commissioner May has a date change that he would like in there. So that's a possibility. If the person who Commissioner made the motion would like to withdraw it, we can then, it'll be easier than amending it.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll withdraw
Commissioner.
that motion.
Okay, motion is withdrawn. Commissioner May.
Thank you. Just to explain the importance of the date of 2023. 2023 goal is to offset energy use with 100% carbon-free electricity for city government operations. That is an opportunity that we'll have that aligns with the KYMEA megawatts, 130 megawatts rolling off their portfolio. The next time that those discussions will come about, my understanding for the contract would be 2029. So my hope was to have a goal and an intent to have a solution for us to move towards that by that date. So that gives us 2022, all of 2023, a little over 2 years to continue to have those discussions. So I was hoping to have that date specific in this resolution for that reason. So I would make a motion to change that resolution to read a resolution for 100% clean renewable electricity for city government operations by 2023.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second to change this resolution to change the date on this resolution. So does that change the entire, do we need to, I'm asking our Ms. Ross here. Do we need to change this whole resolution first?
Yes, you know what, that'll be fine to do it that way. And then we'll just need to come back with, so we're voting to make the change to the resolution. And then if that passes, we will vote on the resolution with that change.
Right. So we have a motion and we have a second to change the date on the resolution. So that's what we're discussing right now. Is it okay, Ms. Ross, if we discuss any other parts of the resolution right now?
It is fine actually to do that if folks want to go ahead and have the discussion on the main body of the resolution right now as well.
Okay, so that's what we're discussing right now is the resolution in any of the parts. And I'll open it up. Commissioner Unger.
I'd like to just thank Commissioner May for taking the time to work on this ordinance. I think committing to the 100% clean renewable energy is just the first step for our city in the path to renewable energy and into that transition. So as we, set these goals, I want those benefits to be community-wide and for us to be equitable in reaching this goal. But I am happy to be a yes vote in support of this resolution because it does recognize the critical climate crisis that we are headed into if we don't begin to take action. So I also support the date change. So I appreciate all your work again, Mr. Commissioner May.
Commissioner Thompson.
I want to make certain that everyone understands that my position is that as we move into the future, that we have to be wise and we have to be good stewards of our time here on this planet. However, we have to make sure that we don't do so at the sacrifice of cost savings, long-term savings, things of that nature. I know that the plant board and Mr. Denton, who works at the plant board, works tirelessly on making sure that they can keep the cost of the services from the plant board low. I think we are ramping up with technology to get us to the point of the one-to-one input to output with regard to green energy. We're not quite there yet, and I think technology is getting to that point. Thank goodness for people like Elon Musk. But I think we got to make sure that when we do these things, and I'm in full support of a resolution that says we're gonna be better stewards of the planet, but I want to make sure that we don't do so at the financial detriment of our citizens.
Commissioner Thompson, I didn't hear that last part.
You didn't hear the dogs barking. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't do so at the detriment of the financial benefits of our individual citizens. And I explained that to Commissioner May when we discussed this as well. I just want to make sure that we do things wisely.
Commissioner May.
Thank you. And yes, and I agree, and I appreciate that. Making that point. I think it's important to remember that this is goal setting, intention, and a framework document with intent. But I agree 100% that everybody's commitment here and everybody's participation is going to be absolutely necessary. And we look forward to working with everybody. And I look at this as an invitation to start those conversations.
Yes, Ms. Beck.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioner May, for bringing this forward. And when you were talking about, setting intentions and starting the conversations, if this resolution passes, it would be my intention that to carry forth this resolution, that we would form a working group with members of the community and city staff members, as well as representatives from the Frankfort Plant Board, to see how we can move closer to achieving these goals.
Absolutely, and I agree with that, which is why I wanted to make sure we put in there, we can't predict the final action plan, but achieving these energy goals will require broad input and concerted action from government, businesses, and community leaders, utilities, and individual citizens. I agree 100%.
And I'll input by saying that this is, one of my big concerns. Obviously, I'm for this. I hope that's obvious that I'm for this, but I am more, I have to worry about the impact it may have on the broader community, particularly when we talk about clean, renewable electricity for the entire community wide, for everyone. And we have to worry how it's going to affect everyone in our entire community. But I am optimistic, and you have to be these days, that there will be a solution between now and 2030, or relatively soon, that's going to enable us to get to that point where clean, renewable energy will be more cost efficient than the old dirty carbon days that we had in the past. So what I'm saying is, I think that right now, this may seem like a pretty bold resolution that we're doing as a community, but I'm confident that if we're looking back 5 years from now, 10 years from now, this is going to seem like a no-brainer. And that's why I support it today. And we will work with all the parties involved, those in the community, the plant board, of course, who's going to be a critical partner in this endeavor. And we're going to do what we have to do to make it work. So I support it.
Thank you.
Commissioner May.
If I just want to end on the goal idea there, I agree with that 100%. Setting goals and achieving them, amazing. Setting goals and not achieving, area of opportunities to improve. Not having goals, that to me is the worst. So, it's a great thing, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner May. Any other discussion on this? I ask the clerk to call for a vote.
Commissioner Waldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yeah, yes, but I would like to explain. We are not, and I want the citizens to understand, we are not restricting ourselves or punishing ourselves if we don't meet these goals. We are setting goals, and that's what we all want to do. What we don't want to do is to hamstring ourselves, and I think this resolution is fine in the intent and the wording. I just want everyone to know that we are in no way saying that we will make sure that prices and costs of living go up in the city of Frankfort just to appease our desires to be good stewards. So I will vote yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes, and that motion carries.
Mayor, I will be leaving the rest of the meeting, so everyone have a good evening.
We shall. Have a good time.
It's
We're
cold and
moving
rainy
on to
here.
action item number 8 here.
Oh.
I think. Yes, Ms. Ross?
We actually need to vote on the resolution itself. We voted on the.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so we voted on the change. Well, we'll still have a quorum, Commissioner Waldron. So that motion passed to change the date of the resolution to 2023. So now we're voting on the actual resolution. I'll entertain a motion. Okay, we have a motion to approve the resolution itself.
Second.
And we have a second. Commissioner May, any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
And I'm a yes. So now that resolution carries. Great. We've adopted it, right? Okay. So now we're actually moving on to action item number 7, which is the City Hall building ADA accessibility. And Ms. Hay?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Actually, had a great conversation with our maintenance engineer, Andy Ferris, who brought this to my attention, that it was an opportunity with all the construction going on, since the front of City Hall is not ADA accessible, that we can take this opportunity to improve access for all of our citizens and make it accessible. This will be, if some of you all will know, we will be able to use as a change order the same contractors who are doing all the construction on Tiger, and this will enable us to be more efficient and save a little money to have this change order and have them do it. The total cost is $157,000, and we will be coming back to you later for a budget amendment to be able to fund this construction.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner May.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Unger. Any discussion? Commissioner Thompson.
I always have something to say, Mayor, and thank you for always humoring me. This is a excellent example of finding a need and filling it. And this was a situation where city staff came to City Manager Haig, came with an idea. We were able to walk it through, and we were able to work it through on a change order with the original grant. So I think this is an excellent opportunity for any of our city staff, any of our city citizens that have ideas to improve the way Frankfort is. Do not be afraid to do it. And I would greatly like to commend city staff for all the great things they do. But this is just one of many examples of the things they do. But just seeing a need and filling it, and that's great stuff.
Thank you, Commissioner Thompson. Yes, anticipating needs, city government, that's what we need to be doing. Now, and I do like it. I think it's great that we can use change orders and piggyback on the existing construction that's already going on 2nd Street. It's one of those things where once the construction's already happening, if we can dovetail into that and fix City Hall, because we need to do that anyway. I support it. Any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote.
Commissioner Thompson,
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes, thank you all for your hard work on that.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
And I'm a yes too. That motion carries. Thank you all. Andy Ferris too. All right, action item number 8, Capital City Museum surplus order.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just an opportunity to surplus and sell some. I think we have some old VCRs, some printers. I was asking like what people could use this for. Maybe, I don't know, there's going to be movies featuring the 1980s that still want, VCRs. But we're told that actually people do buy this. So we just need to cleaning out some of the storage areas in our Capital City Museum after its beautiful renovation and cleaning stuff up. So just asking your approval to be able to surplus it.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Unger, second by Commissioner May. Any discussion? We have Sean Pickens here. If anybody has any questions. Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
And I vote yes. And that motion carries. Thank you, Sean. Sorry, hit the wrong button. Okay, next action item number 11, the tree canopy plan, phase 1. We have a bid. Laura Haig.
Yes, thank you. And Sean is here as well. If you all have any questions, we needed to rebid for the implementation of our tree plan, which was adopted by the commission back in 2018. And we received one bid, and we have worked with the winning bidder to make sure some of the questions are, we want to make sure that the they have the availabilities, the right trees are planted in the right location. As you all know, we have an effort to create, I would say, an urban city arboretum. And this is going to be attractive to obviously tourists, of course, our citizens and residents. So we did rebid it. We've worked with the bidder and we're confident about moving forward. The funds for this first phase of the tree implementation of the tree plan, $19,302 will come from our new Frankfort tree planting plan as part of the Bluegrass Community Fund, which is the part of our Parks Fund, which is the first action the commission took to implement the Parks Master Plan. And the other part, $30,000, will come from our forestry budget. So we're really excited to get started and get these trees planted before it gets too cold this fall. And we will be coming back to you next year in the different seasons for the other different phases all around downtown Frankfort.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? No discussion. Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
I vote yes. That motion carries. And that leads us to new business. Thank you, Sean.
Mayor Wilkinson, if I just want to make one addition, the Frankfort Tree Planting Fund was made possible by the generous donation of private citizens. And this is exactly why we created our Parks Foundation for citizens all across our community who can contribute to the important goals and the important plans that we have.
That's important. Yes, this is the Parks Master Plan right here. It's we're activating it, and we set up a foundation. It's already, contributions have been made, and now we're implementing. So, very important. Thank you. And that'll lead us to new business. Do we have any new business to discuss? Seeing none, we'll move to, yes, Commissioner Thompson.
Sorry, Mayor. Now
all
that
right.
City Manager Hegg is out of the dark, I would like for us to discuss at the next meeting regarding the payment in lieu of tax for 2022, 2023 fiscal year. And I would also like to discuss the Capitol View Park issue. If we could address those at the November discussion meeting.
Sounds great. Yes, Ms. Ross.
Just to clarify and make sure we understand, Commissioner Thompson, the Capitol View Park issue, are you referring to the lease that we have with the state?
Yes.
Okay.
The lease with the state and the indice of ownership with the state right now.
Okay, great.
Ownership
Thank you.
structure.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, November 8th, that's our work session. How about that?
Yep. Staff will prepare appropriately.
Any other new business? Now we'll go to unfinished business. And one item would be we had a joint meeting a couple of weeks ago with the county, and one of coming out of that was we would direct our city attorney and the county attorney would get together and work on a structure where we would have a series of sub meetings on, and that's something we still need to resolve. on how we move forward on that. My recommendation would be that we, I've got to say, on that joint meeting, we did have a few topics and themes that came up that we wanted to focus on in combination with the county government, and including talking about economic development, KCDC, talking about workforce development and education, talking about parks and sports tourism. One of the things we've already talked about tonight and voted on. My recommendation would be we would just work with our staffs to work together for the foreseeable future to work on solutions and bring those ideas to the respective boards so that we can vote on any measures that we mutually agree. But I'm open for suggestions on this. And if there are none, then we can, we'll just
Mayor,
keep working like we have been. Yeah, Commissioner Thompson.
Mayor, I know that Commissioner Waldridge is not here, and I think I will echo what our conversation was about this, along with City Manager Hegg. And I know, Mayor, you and I have tried to connect a couple times over the last couple of weeks. I am less positive that things will actually move forward if we keep the structure and the folks on that with the number of personality conflicts, perhaps, and politics getting in the way that are belaboring what should seem to be common ground on a lot of things. And I want to make sure that if we do continue these things, that we do so in a manner that while the city and county can have the ability to hold people accountable, that perhaps before we even get to that point of having any more discussions, perhaps city staff and county staff need to lay some groundwork that needs to happen at this point. And I know that I always attach on to things that County Attorney Rick Sparks says, but he started squawking at the end of the meeting, like, why won't anybody say the word? Why won't anybody say the word? And the word is, everybody's afraid to say that we're merging services or discussing merging services. And I think before we even go down that road, there needs to be a whole lot of economic impact and data analysis of what those things would be like, so that when the mayor, yourself, and Commissioner Waldridge and myself and Commissioner May, Commissioner Unger, and then city staff, when we're all talking to people in the community and folks that are impacted by this, we know what we're talking about, and we don't have the same playing field or expectations as the county does right now. And we need to get on that same level. We're playing checkers and they're playing chess, and that's not a knock on either one of them. It's just we're playing two different games right now, and we got to figure out what the goals are of each. I think we are missing the boat if we do not combine some services like waste management and recycling. That seems so no-brainer to me. Parks, other things down the road like that. And I just think that we are fire and police. I mean, so many things that we're duplicating services on, and I think we need to take a step back and figure out what the economic impact and the data shows for us on those things, and then move forward. I would actually like to make the motion that the city terminates any further discussions of that particular working group, and we delegate to the city manager to begin those discussions with staff and to begin those analytics, so that we can then go talk to our counterparts at the county and have a better idea of what it is we're actually looking for. And I don't think that we have those goals outlined even by the city yet. So that's what I would do. And I will make the motion that we terminate any further participation in that particular working group until further notice.
Commissioner May, we have a motion.
May I have a follow-up
Well,
question? Is that okay?
well, we're looking for a second right now, if you want to.
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Commissioner May. And you have a follow-up question?
Just to reiterate, the understanding there is that we outline and clearly define our priorities as a working body that exists right now the way it is, so that we can be the most efficient in our decision-making process. Is the motion?
That is correct.
Yep. Awesome. That's the way I heard it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Commissioner. Second.
Okay, so we have, so what is the motion instructing the city manager to do this?
I'm asking the city manager to delegate the needs outlined by the city, our goals that we had discussed previously, and to determine what the economic impact and what the data would resolve to be for our citizens and for the city as a whole and the county if we were to merge certain resources with county government. And I think that goes pretty broadly, but I think in my discussions with City Manager Haig, she knows exactly what that means and what I'm interested in. So, and if not, I'm sure she will text me and call me later and ask me what the heck I was talking about. But that's exactly what I would like.
Commissioner Unger.
Is it necessary to have a motion on this, or can we just direct staff? Ms. Ross.
While a motion isn't absolutely necessary, I think staff actually would appreciate the motion so that we can refer back to that and make sure that we're clearly carrying out what you all want.
Solicitor Ross, would you prefer me to make two motions then? One motion to terminate any further discussions in that particular working group, and then a motion to direct staff so there's no confusion?
I would love that, Commissioner. Thank you.
I know you know I'm wordy. I will actually retract my original motion then, Mayor, if you would allow me to do so.
Yes.
And I will make a further motion that the city no longer participate in the working group as outlined previously with the county.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second discussion. So I have a question. So on this, in the past, I've worked with the judge on this to, discuss the makeup of a commission or discuss that. So is that something that, some of those topics that came up, I would still, I'm on a board of one of the organizations that we've discussed. I mean, I would expect that we're still going to we're going to have discussions like that aren't going to be public meetings like we had before.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
assuming some of that stuff would still be appropriate under this motion.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, sir. I'm talking about that particular working group that was outlined in that joint city staff meeting and then was further developed in the discussions between yourself and staff and the county.
Got it. Okay, motion and a second. Any other discussion on that? So that's my question. Okay, so we have that motion and second. No further discussion. I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote to terminate the previous working group.
I think he voted yes.
Sorry, old German Shepherd, he barks every day.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger.
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
And yes. Okay. That's one part.
I would, Mayor Wilkerson, I would like to make a second motion at this time to direct staff through the city manager, who will delegate this, to work with the goals of the comprehensive plan and the downtown master plan and the parks plan to determine how combination of resources with the county, whether they be financial, human capital, how that would affect services as well as the financial standing of the city and our citizens. Kelly, is that too wordy?
Okay, we have a motion. I'll entertain a second on this one. Right, waiting on a second. Seeing none?
May I ask, I apologize. May I ask for a repeat of the motion? My apologies. I was having a little bit of audio issues here.
I deserve that. I deserve every bit of that.
I did hear the comment of a little wordy. I apologize, Commissioner Thompson.
No, my motion would be to direct staff through City Manager Haig, who will delegate that responsibility to determine the financial impact of combining resources, whether it's financial and human, to determine the financial impact on the city and the citizens of the city.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second to direct staff to analyze this. And my discussion on this is, this, we're talking about, that's consultant level analysis. We cannot expect our city manager to devote the time to, we're going to have to hire this out is what we're asking for. Am I right?
This would be a considerable staff commitment. One thing I wanted to suggest to you all, that if, when Commissioner Thompson was talking, we do have some different plans to include that. I would think most important for the city commission is finishing our strategic plan, which, as you know, we're going to have our staff retreat next month, and taking the priorities that you all have identified and then looking at the different strategies. If this is a priority of the commission, I think that would be the appropriate plan to put it in and document, because that's really going to dictate how city staff spends its time and our departments spend their resources in achieving the priorities that you all have laid out, and that we will engage with citizens in January, and our expectation is that you adopt the strategic plan in February. And again, that document will set forth that all of our other departments, they will have work plans that feed up into how we achieve these priorities. So a significant investment like that, if that is a priority, you're right, then we need to build that in. That is probably a more consultant level analysis. We can also be more selective, perhaps, if there's certain services as part of your priorities that are really important, we can look into that. So I would just say, if this is a priority for the commission, we're happy to carry it out. I think the best way is setting forth the importance of it in our strategic plan in one of our strategies.
Okay, I'll follow up on that. So out of that last meeting that we did have, there were those topics that rose to the top. Is this something we could direct staff to? Well, we have a motion that's on right now still. Sorry, I should probably
Mayor,
vote on that.
Well,
Yeah.
Mayor, I don't want my motion to be that the city staff have to be the individuals who complete the tasks, I think I made it broad enough to delegate to say what it is we may need. Do we need to dig a hole here? Who's going to be able to dig the hole for us for the best price? And I honestly don't know that we know what it is that we're actually looking for. So I'll give you an example. If emergency services is something that we would want to look at combining, that would be an additional cost to us. It would be a savings over time, but how do we make that determination? Well, between Chief Briscoe and the Alicia and others, they can make that determination. Now, other things that come into it when it comes to tonnage of resources, parks being run by a third party, those are studies we don't have. We don't have any way of knowing what the impact of that would be, but we don't know what we don't know yet either. And that's one of those things where we have to line out. These are the things that you have to take into consideration, because Sean knows a whole lot more about having the right number of people for a long afternoon on a Saturday to do softball games than I do. And perhaps he would be able to say, well, to be able to even do that, we would need to do A, B, and C to even know what that cost structure is. So those are the things that I want to make sure we, when I said direct staff, I intentionally, knowing how City Manager Haig thinks a little bit, it's going to be, we gotta outline exactly what it is we're looking for here, and then what are the steps. This is not an overnight thing. This is, and the reason for my motion is essentially to be able to not only go to the people of Frankfort, but be able to go back to the table with the county and say, okay, now we're prepared to talk about these 100 things that came up the other night, and these are the things we're not prepared for. And right now we're not prepared to have that discussion, even though it seems like that's a discussion that a lot of people want to have. So I just want that to be at the front of our mind, and as we finish the comp plan, I think that's going to be something that we can take into account, and perhaps take those two documents that they had and we had, have somebody smarter than us figure it out.
Commissioner May?
A question for resources to help us accomplish that. Does KLC offer anything in regards to sourcing that information or providing resources necessary to get that information?
Yes, Ms. Ross.
I definitely know that KLC has done a lot of work on merger guidelines and has been really involved in the legislation over the years, and to with services, merging services, and bigger merger discussions. I also know they could point us to some of the cities that have already done these things, so that we could reach out and see what cities have had success merging what types of services. So that can definitely be part of our plan.
Thank you.
So the motion that's on the table, could we, well, I would entertain, well, do we have any other discussion on it? Do we need to amend it? Do we need to? Let me just, my discussion will be that I think that I'd be more in favor of directing staff to look at a specific issue or a specific topic that came out of those meetings, such as, sports, parks and, and sports tourism, something like that, how we can work together with the county. But I think it is, as the motion is now, it is pretty broad. Commissioner Unger?
Mayor, I do agree with you on that as well. I think the way the motion is stated, we are taking the focus away on some of the work that we're doing right now, and I would like staff to stay focused on the strategic plan, get that going, let's get this implemented, and then like you mentioned, maybe we have very specific meetings that we can set up with the county in the future. Like maybe we do get this EDA grant and we can discuss implementation, and because I do think communication is really important with the county. But as far as this motion, I think it's a little too much for me to be a yes on right now for staff.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. Do we want to call for a vote now? Or do you want to? Well, I'll ask for a vote.
Commissioner Thompson,
I'm sorry. I was sitting here thinking I said it 4 times. Yes.
okay. Commissioner May,
I'm gonna say no.
Commissioner Unger,
I'm a no as well.
Mayor Wilkerson.
And I'm gonna know, just to say also that I think we need to refine it and clarify it a little bit more. That's all.
In agreement.
Let's refine it and drill it down right now. What would
The floor is open.
Mayor, what would you like for it to envision? What I don't want to happen is I simply don't want the work that we have, the desires that we have that we're already working on, all the economic development stuff that you and I have worked on closely. We've got to continue down the road of this idea that if we have a finite amount of resources, then we need to determine what is the best way to use those for everybody in Frankfort, and quite honestly, for everybody in Franklin County. They use Frankfort every day. So what I don't want to do is sit back and punt and say, we don't want to do this with the county right now because we went in there and it was kind of a mess the other night. And, you know, I wasn't on the meet. I wasn't in the meeting. I was on the meeting listening, and it was a mess. And we don't do anybody any good with, you know, train wrecks like that. Nothing comes out of those meetings. It needs to be, we need to drill down to the issues. But before we know what those issues are, we gotta know what our position is going to be. You know, what things are benefit the citizens of Frankfort and what things wouldn't. And I think we do ourselves a disservice if we say we'll deal with that next year in the middle of an election. And that's not fair either, because this is a fundamental thing we're going to have to tackle with economics. Almost everything we've talked about, whether it's trash and recycling, sports tourism, paying for fire trucks and dump trucks, all of that is affected by having double the square mileage with the county, and, you know, 40% of the total people in Franklin County living in the county. It's just something that we have to tackle, because every issue we've talked about would be affected by a combination of resources. And if we don't do that, then we're not, I don't think we're doing our jobs, at least discussing the options. And I'll go back to the point that, you know, the recycling program that was set up 12 years ago, again, great program. We absolutely should do it. We need to be good stewards. It is affecting us financially now. It is a detriment to us if we don't fix that particular issue. But I've said it for 2 months now. If we combine the total tonnage, if we combine the total amounts that we were sending to recycling, it's quite possible we get a better rate. All those things would affect everyday people who are struggling to pay for $4 gas. And just something I think at an economic time like this, we need to just address the big old elephant in the room. And that's just something we need to do. I am not talking about a referendum on merger on a ballot. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about local governments, and it doesn't even have to be the two local governments that we always talk about. It could be other local governments that want to talk recycling and garbage refuse issues and parks deals. I just think we have to look at a different way of doing things. We have done things the same way for the last 40 years, and we just got to think outside the box a little bit. And I think part of that is cooperative efforts with other governmental entities.
And I agree with all of that. And perhaps it's, I'm sure there's been some, with all the talk over the years, there's probably been other analysis on various departments in the past. Perhaps it's just directing staff to see what's out there. Go back and look and see what other analysis has been done, whether it's parks, whether it's recycling, all of that, and let's direct staff to find any of that information rather than go out and create their own. Let's see what else has already been done and bring that to us. That way we're aware of what's been done in the past. And that could be a good starting point. And that way, if there has been discussion of parks or fire or whatever, then we know, so we'll at least have a starting point, because I don't know all those numbers. But I agree, Commissioner Thompson. There's no use. We need to share services where we can, and we're going to get more bang for our buck as a community, because we all live in Frankfort or Franklin County. But at the end of the day, we're just the City of Frankfort Board of Commissioners, and we don't represent both governments.
Mayor, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. However, I will disagree in the sense that we don't represent them in the sense that they lay their head down at night on a pillow somewhere in Peaks Mill, but they work every day. They go to the same Kroger we do. They go to the same Walmart. We have the same downtown. We essentially have the same local economies. And while we do not represent them on this city commission, the services that they receive, we do represent. And that is something that I think has to be looked into. And it goes to the issue that I talked about with the payment in lieu as well. I mean, it's not just Frankfort and Franklin County. It's the city of Frankfort and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and perhaps other local municipalities, if they want to get on the list, that may need to share the load here. And sharing the load doesn't mean just writing a check. Sometimes it's, hey, you bring your problems, we'll bring our problems, and we'll have a better solution if we do that. So, I don't disagree with you. They are not voting members of our populace, but they spend half their day on our city streets and our city buildings, and probably pay that occupational tax that we love so much. So I think we need to be cognizant of their needs too.
Okay, well, if we don't have any other discussion, I don't know if we don't have another motion. I'm waiting on another motion, or we can adjourn.
Mayor, I'll promise that in our staff retreat that we're going to have next month, that this will be a part of it, and taking the priorities that y'all have set forth in the strategic plan. And we'll start to discuss it then. I think this will be an ongoing conversation to look at that there's different services, perhaps there's cost savings as part of your priorities, the commission's priorities in the strategic plan.
Well, I agree with all of that, and I'm anything we can do to save money and improve services and improve the quality of life for everybody in Frankfort, I am for. So keep those ideas coming. Well, if we don't have any other discussion or motions or
Mayor, I'd
unfinished
move-
business,
Mayor, I'd move to adjourn.
Second.
a motion and a second. Thank you all. All those in favor say aye.
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 Have a good night. We are adjourned.
Thank you.